We live in a world where printing is more advanced than it ever has been before, and the consumer demographic that could be printing is ever expanding. You at HP know this better than anyone else, and this should all add up to an excellent business opportunity for your company. But it doesn't. Luckily for you, we plan on changing that today. My name is Brayden, and these are my colleagues, Sheehan, Rahma, and Tailai. And today, we plan on making HP better than it ever has been before. But before we get into that, let me tell you about the world of printing. Just like any other industry, this one is comprised of several firms, all competing for the top spot. They try to differentiate themselves by looking at trends within the market, but we believe that there are certain trends that HP and other firms have yet to capitalize on. We can fix that, but what are we actually trying to solve today? Well, you've identified for us that there's a lack of interest when it comes to young consumers and printing. Among other things, consumers simply are not seeing the value in printing like they used to. Now, I've mentioned young consumers a few times now, but who actually are these people? Let me introduce you to them. These are the Generation Zs. They expect their products to be efficient, intuitive, and fast. They're interested in new technology, and they're more socially connected than any generation before them. In addition, this generation is extremely in tune with the earth and the environment. Now, you know the industry, you know the problem, and you know who we're targeting. What can we actually do today? Well, we've done an in-depth decision matrix, and we can see, based on your 3 decision criteria, as well as all the things that we believe are necessary to implement the best solution possible related to the trends in the industry, that something such as a partnership, subscription service, or mobile application is simply not going to cut it for a company of the size and stature of HP. We need something that covers all our bases, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you something that does. This is HP SmartFax. Without getting too deep into it, I want you to imagine a world where you can instantaneously share any file to anyone else in the world, physically. Now this all sounds well and good, and we're going to tell you all about HP SmartFax today, beginning with the production of our product. Next, we'll get into the people and how we plan to reel them in. Finally, we'll get into the payoff, what this actually means for HP. This will all be wrapped up by our finances, implementation plan, and risks and contingency plan. So without further ado, here's Tailai with the production of HP SmartFax.
Thank you, Brayden. As he said, I'm going to be talking about what exactly HP SmartFax is, how it will be benefiting our consumers, and of course, how it aligns with HP's mission, vision, and future printers. Well, first of all, HP SmartFax is an IoT printer network. Now, this may seem like a very daunting term, but IoT simply means Internet of Things. It refers to any device that is connected to another device on the internet. We have our mobile phones, our smart home speakers, and even our smart home thermostats. What we're suggesting today is that we have HP connect all of their existing printers onto an online network called an IoT network. Now, this brings forth several opportunities for HP. The first one being instantaneous physical file sharing. Think of it as the airdrop for printing. Anybody with an HP printer will be able to upload their files onto an online database. In turn, they can send these files to any HP printer in the world. This encourages the most personalized and collaborative work environment possible. We live in a world where there are both physical learners and digital learners. People need print material while other people need digital media. By giving consumers and users access to both of them at the same time, they can now collaborate on levels like never seen before. Of course, all of this will be on a safe and secure platform that already exists within HP's infrastructure. This is known as HP Smart. HP Smart is already on the Windows Store, the Apple App Store, and the Google Play Store. Now you can see that SmartFax slides in perfectly right next to Instant Ink, where every single user will be able to upload their documents onto the database. They can then send whatever presentation they want or whatever files they want to anyone on their contact list. In this case, Mary and Yule and the HP executive team. On the receiving end of things, users will be greeted with a push notification to either accept or reject the file. Upon accepting it, they can choose which of their printers to send it to, in this case, HP Home Tango. Now you can see that with just a click of a few buttons, you have access to every single HP printer in the world. We're taking away the hassle of printing and the hassle of sending files to your friends and knocking down all the barriers related to it. Consumers now have an experience like never before.
So now you know all about how we're going to actually produce HP SmartFax. But you may be wondering, how will it get out to our customers? Well, this is our people, covered by Rahma in the next portion of our presentation.
In order to appeal to a large group of young consumers, we will analyze exactly how SmartFax aligns with different trends that are growing among them. To start off, imagine this. Hey Google, SmartFacts Sheehan, my calc notes from today, with a 16.6% compounded annual growth rate in smart home technology, and since HP SmartFacts so seamlessly integrates itself into this growing culture, we know that it will be successful with the younger demographic. Furthermore, we place HP into a virtuous cycle by creating an abundance or taking advantage of the abundance of complementary goods. By the target demographic, there's 150,000 plus shares on social media in Canada every week. So by taking advantage of this, we will place HP into a virtuous cycle, continually expanding our consumer base. And finally, according to Euromonitor, 45% of consumers feel that targeted marketing, as done through social media, is just too invasive. That's why, to combat this, we came up with our campaign, #FaxAFriend. With #FaxAFriend, you will be able to fax yourself, as well as your friend, a 10% off discount on your next HP purchase. And finally, to conclude this segment of the presentation, I'd like to discuss exactly how HP SmartFacts covers the entire domain of customer needs. For the Gen Zs, they're able to send their schedules or memes to their friends, and for the millennials, they're able to send any educational resources, work resources, or notes, as well as any sentimental photos to their friends, family, and grandparents to meet their own needs.
So now you know how we're going to produce HP SmartFacts and get it out to our consumer base. But what does implementing this plan actually mean for HP? This is the payoff of HP SmartFacts, covered by Sheehan.
SmartFacts effectively targets consumer pain points and hassle. Before, you would have had to search, then download, then send, then print your document. In contrast, SmartFacts allows you to instantly print. This allows consumers to seamlessly integrate printing into their everyday lives. Furthermore, there is a common misconception that printing is extremely wasteful, and this is one of the main reasons why consumers are deterred from printing. However, consider this. Reading a PDF on your laptop for 10 minutes consumes more carbon emissions than printing out a 700-page document. Since SmartFacts enables you to print out your notes instead of reading those same notes online, it is effectively allowing consumers to minimize their ecological footprint. If we market this sustainable impact, we can change perceptions and remove apprehensions that were once associated with printing. This induces growth in HP as a company. Future applications of this also include educational institutions as well as job recruitment. Instead of a TA or a job recruiter having to accept individual hard copies of applications or homework assignments, they can have a centralized copy as applicants or students SmartFacts over their documents.
Now, you know all about what HP SmartFacts actually is, but is this idea possible? For the remainder of the presentation, I'll hand it off to the rest of the team to remove any doubts in your mind regarding feasibility.
So I'm going to be talking about finances and what costs are going to be associated with producing HP SmartFacts. Well, there are three main costs. The first two are IoT development and web development. Both of these are centered around the transfer of information on our network, as well as the display of the information to our users. However, both of these engineering costs are minor compared to marketing. We plan on allocating $12 million, or 2% of HP's annual marketing budget towards HP SmartFacts. I'll be happy to go over any of these numbers and the profitability of HP SmartFacts during the Q&A period.
To implement SmartFacts, HP, the first thing you need to do when you get back to the office on Monday morning is to hire and create a research and development team. This team will narrow down the details of how to implement and integrate wireless faxing technology so that in the medium and long term, you can market it and improve the technology based on market surveys and consumer feedback. I'd be happy to expand the details in the Q&A session afterward.
To ensure maximum success of HP SmartFacts, we considered several risks, the main one being competitors developing a similar product. We ranked this risk as highly likely but with very low impact because, as we know, HP has the largest printing market share, so we will leverage this market share in order to mitigate this risk because HP will be the most successful in implementing and following through with the network effect, which is crucial in this recommendation.
As we conclude our presentation, we need you to know why HP SmartFacts is the best choice for your company. Well, we hope that after this presentation, you can see that you asked us to create a solution, and now we ask you to imagine a reality where HP SmartFacts excels in not one, but all of your decision criteria. We meet your mission, we net the largest amount of customers possible, and we create both present and future value for your company. But we didn't stop there. We also looked at trends within the industry, and we're looking to implement our product with these trends in mind. This allows us to cater our product to the Generation Zs as effectively as possible. In addition, you need to know that this is an extremely low-risk, high-reward plan, and the benefits for HP could be plenty bountiful if you choose to go with our program. Now, We believe that SmartFax is the optimal solution for your company and that it can provide the bridge from the present of printing to the future of HP. Thank you, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Wow.
I would like to compliment all of you on your energy level. That was very impressive. Thank you. A couple of questions. Have you thought about a cost for this service? Because the HP Smart App is a free service and a value add.
So yeah, HP SmartFax, the main objective of this entire software technology is to encourage people to buy more printers. So the service itself is going to be free. So you will be able to use your current Instant subscription or whatever plan you have to print, and you're just printing the files that you receive. So the transfer of information itself is 100% free.
Okay, thank you. I also would like a point of clarity because I'm not sure I fully understand the concept. So you have the printer,
Yes.
and people are smart faxing you documents that you can print on your printer for them, or they're for yourself?
Yeah, so this is about the sharing of print documents. So it's not necessarily, in case I would need something printed, I can send it to one of my friends to have them printed, yes. But this is more about having our files and information exchanged. So anybody with an HP printer can send any file they want to any of their friends that also have HP printers, so that we can just sort of collaborate together on whatever work it might be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would have to be somebody that you know and that you're socially connected to.
Yes, so this is this sort of ties to the privacy. One of the main concerns was that, oh, I don't want anybody to be able to send me files. But as long as we're connected on the HP Smart App, we will be able to associate our files with each other and send them to each of our printers.
Okay.
Yes.
And is there any experience where, there's somebody who has a printer that I don't know you personally, but you're asking me to print on my printer? Have you thought about if that's a negative experience in this?
Yeah, so back to the demo over here. Every single time that you receive a SmartFax, you're going to be greeted with the push notification. So it will show you which person is sending you which file. So you can't see it in the demo, but we're meant to show a preview slide as well to see what document they're trying to send you. But they wouldn't have access to your contact information unless you give it to them.
Okay, thank you. So I think I understand. Thank you.
Yeah.
So if you're the one that owns the printer and your friends are sending you all these files, you're the one paying for all of their printouts. So can you help me understand, is that unfair to you as the printer owner, that it's a higher cost for you?
Okay, thank you. So Brayden, can you pull up the timer slide on applications for the consumer and industry? So we've separated the uses and applications of SmartFax into two categories. So we found consumer applications and industry applications. So for industry applications, for example, if I was a professor and I needed lab reports handed in to me, instead of having them from separate students handed in, the professor would use funds from the school, hopefully, so that he can have a centralized stack of lab reports. So that's more high bulk printing for the industry. But for consumer uses, examples were if Rahma and I were in the same calculus class and I was sick one day and she wanted to send me notes, I would be willing to pay for the printing and ink expenses that are related to that. So on a consumer level, the cost should be fairly equal because I am agreeing to print what I accept. And then on the industry level, the cost should be subsidized since it's more higher bulk printing.
The name SmartFax, can you walk us through why you think, we start off talking about young consumers. Sort of in my mind, it harkens back to an almost obsolete technology. Can you walk us through the psychology of why, or the thought why you chose that name?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so the inspiration behind the idea was actually when we were brainstorming about printing. We were like, wait, isn't faxing also kind of like printing? And then we realized, oh, it has gone really obsolete. But then we thought about how faxing still has so many uses, but since it's such a tedious and cumbersome process with the hard landlining and the fax numbers, that whole process we thought we could really bring back and socialize printing by reinventing faxing and bringing it back to life. So the inspiration behind the name Smart Fax really comes from all the smart home technology. As I mentioned, it's growing like crazy, especially among the younger demographic. So we really think the name itself even appeals to consumers. When they see it, they connect it to all the other smart home tech that they have.
Once again, guys, great presentation. I love the benefit visualization or the product demo. It was really innovative. I guess my question is, I think this is a really great idea to help consumers that are already using HP print more, but it doesn't necessarily address the fact that people aren't necessarily buying printers as much. So how do you plan to use this not only to increase usage, but to gain new users?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. So as you know, the problem that your company's having is related not only to people not printing as much, we need to actually gain new customers, right? So as you can see here, we've identified our demographic, and we can see, based on industry trends and data that we've collected, that they're interested in things like new technology, environmental sustainability, and social connectivity. So not only is this product going to encourage our current customers to print more, we're actually going to be able to reel in new customers, because as I said, this demographic is extremely in tune with new technology. They are very interested in new things that get released, and they're going to be willing to buy this product just so that they can be on the edge of technology.
Your solution is integrated with the HP Smart app. With all of the other apps out there and all of the other noise, what are some great ideas that you have to differentiate the HP app?
Yeah, for sure. Sweet. All right. Yeah. So HP Smart, every single user who purchases an HP printer, there's already like a message inside like the user guide to like download the HP Smart app to get the full experience of an HP printer. So I believe that our main concern right now isn't the fact that there are other printing apps available for other from other companies like Xerox or whatever. It's going to be the fact that HP users themselves aren't willing to download the app, because this is a process that people aren't like that interested in. Going on their phone and downloading the app itself is like kind of cumbersome. So any user now, in order to get the full functionality of the HP printer, they're going to need this app just to get the Smart Fax functionality. So that, since it's so integral in your daily life and your daily printing activities, we think that this encourages people to download the app as a whole and then take advantage of all the other services offered by it.
Yeah, actually I have a follow-up question
Yeah.
to just your answer to Kim's question. Would you think that, I think you sort of mentioned that downloading the app would be sort of essential in order as part of your HP experience. Would you find, in your personal experience, would someone sort of pick something where you're almost sort of forced to download the app in order to get the full experience for a printer versus, say, a competing product where you can just sort of buy the printer and print? So how would you sort of answer that sort of complication?
Well, I think in this case, I'm thinking of something like Spotify. So Spotify, you need the music player in order to play it, but you can also send songs on Spotify to your friends. So I'm thinking on Messenger, say I hear like really good tune and I want to send to Brayden, he will get a link to a Spotify opener and we're going to listen to it. But without the app, he's only allowed to hear 15 seconds of it, regardless of whether or not he paid for the subscription itself. So while I'm getting the full experience, Brayden still can't do it regardless of what's happening, because Spotify is a closed-off platform, and we're trying to replicate the same thing with HP Smart Fax.
The differential between using this Smart Fax and using existing drop or file share is you identify that as a pain point of having to then send it to my printer. Is there research that showed, what research you do or data do you guys pull on to sort of identify that is a hindrance to people actually physically printing?
That's definitely a great question. So if we can't answer that question, our idea is kind of useless, but fortunately we can. As we said in the presentation, we related it to AirDrop. So let me tell you about AirDrop. AirDrop's for Apple devices, and what you can do with AirDrop is instantly deliver a file to another phone, right? Now, why don't you just text the file? Well, people use AirDrop because it's extremely easy to use. It's intuitive, it's fast, and the files are formatted perfectly because it's in between Apple devices. Now, let me relate this back to HP SmartFacts. Why would you choose our technology over emailing, sending, downloading the document? Well, it's intuitive, it's fast, it's cutting edge. Not only are we able to get our files from person to person, we're able to do that perfectly because since it's from an HP printer to another HP printer, we're able to get our files to format correctly just how you want it. In a high-pressure environment such as school, this is imperative. Because imagine you're doing an assignment extremely late. You're trying to edit it with a peer, perhaps. If there is some kind of formatting issue when you send it from peer to peer, this can really hinder your work ability and environment in general. So we plan to completely negate all of these hindrances, and that, I believe, will make consumers use our application and technology.
That's all the time. Thank you.
Yo, you guys did so well. Oh my god. Good job, good job. Good job. Brayden goes so hard every time.
Well, we just finished a 20-hour work week. You know how it is, day in life, money in the bank, bonus mark in the bank, shit knows.
Yes.
Lab Z05, Shadow CS plus Matt, he's that group chat, it meant the world to me.